Hey, what's going on? Hey, all right. Hey, everyone. Uh, welcome to Equip from the '80s, or me, Chris Seaver. Hello, Warlock Home Video. Um, I am just doing this video to let everyone know about what the hell is going on. Um, production wise, what is happening? Uh, what's been going on? Why have I not been on the channel? What is up? What is up? And so I'm going to talk about all of the projects and things that are happening. And you know, really, it's there's been a lot of good and bad happening at the moment, as far as uh, productions and life and all of those things. And as I've told you guys before, plenty of times, new videos will happen either when I have the time or I'm feeling really jazzed about, talking about a particular thing. And there's a couple things that I have wanted to talk about, but quite frankly, um, with everything else that I've been doing, my time has become more uh, precious. So I haven't really wanted to sit down and shoot a video. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's why there hasn't really been uh, a lot of movement. Project wise, I'm which you'll find out. I'm doing a lot. There's a lot on my plate for this next half of the year, and um, a lot of pre-production happening. Uh, and so uh, I just the time has been interesting to deal with. Um, let me get through Wellsville Nights first. So, if you follow my Instagram at Warlock Home Video, if you follow the Facebook pages, which is Christopher J. Seaver or Warlock Home Video Network, um, or if you were a part of the donations, the GoFundMe, you know that since last year, since the issues that happened to me last year, the medical shit that went down, physical and mental shit, um, I I had to postpone Wellsville Nights. I knew that we were gonna ramp right back into it after all those issues were cleared up. I shot Death o' Lantern 3, Corn on the Macabre in October of last year, which you can get now. But going into this year, I knew that okay, we're gonna pick up Wellsville Nights again, and we're gonna be able to shoot some more episodes. Once again, almost immediately off the bat, uh, things started to degrade and change, and it was changing what the show was structurally, and I think cast wise, and I really I wasn't happy. I was not happy with it. So school issues, which we dealt with last year, um, the school upped their rental fee, and then said what we sort of had to deal with when we shot the pilot in 2022. there was construction happening, and they said that the construction that will be happening doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be happening right on top of what we needed for the shoot, but they couldn't 100% guarantee that we wouldn't either hear or get some sort of um, you know interference, uh, which was which again sucked on top of them raising the rent because they have to go along with the times, as they say. It was the dealing with the economy at the moment, I guess. So that's what I got. So that was that, and then we had three different cast shakeups, where last year we only had one. Um, this year, three three things kind of happened, and I was trying to deal with those shakeups, in addition to trying to find alternatives to those shakeups. And it just kept sort of snowballing in a in the wrong direction, not in the right direction. So that was an issue. Um, and then the bowling alley that we had previously shot at for the pilot, as well as for Mulva, Demon Ass Kicker. Last year they changed management, and the original owner, who was amazing and worked with us constantly, had to give the new guys some info, and then I had to contact the new guys. And at the time, they said, "Well, we'll work something out. Um, let's as things get closer, let's let's touch base." And things got closer, and then the bullshit happened. Well, so I recontacted them for this summer shoot, and the owner of the new owner basically said to me, "Hey, this is a this that was an old deal. We're a working bowling alley, and they were a working bowling alley before, but we were just able to work with them and do it on off hours." And this guy really didn't seem like he wanted to work with us at all. And then he said, basically, "Hey, this ain't gonna be cheap." The letter read like more so like a giving us every excuse in the book so that we would drop wanting to shoot there again. So that was sort of a bummer. And so when you take out that location and then you take out the school location, I was trying to go through the scripts of what we were going to shoot for the episodes we were going to shoot, and repurpose or relocate some of those scenes. And there were a lot of scenes for each episode. And just was becoming something that the show was not. And so when you take into account all of the issues I was having, and we were supposed to shoot coming up in July, I had to once again sort of just realize that I was beaten. I said that Crom does not want us to make Wellsville Nights, and so I had to postpone Wellsville Nights. And this is a situation where I don't know when I'm going to come back to it. But I did come up with a solution for when we do go back to it, and what I'm going to do with it. And it's no longer going to be a series, but it's going to be like a 2 hour after school special, like a you know in the '80s they had a shit ton of after school specials, or TV movies that had like you know, sitcom TV show celebrities doing like melodramatic stuff in like teen roles and whatnot. And so I'm going to combine the pilot with elements from the other episodes that are written to make a all encompassing um, TV movie, and that's what I'm going to be doing with Wellsville Nights when I'm able to go back to it. Um, and everything that has already been spent on Wellsville Night, we will use you know, in the new iteration of what it is. It's all sitting down there in tubs. It's ready to go. But I just mentally had to move away from it and say to myself, you know, the forces of evil are winning on this one. And once again, I had to push it aside. So that's what's going on with Wellsville Nights. And hello, Chicken Wizard. Good day. Um, for anyone who does pop on, we can certainly talk. You can ask questions and whatnot, but it's really this was just for me to quickly. I just wanted to jump on and talk about all the projects that were happening and the things that were going on recently, and you know what you can expect from the year. Um, as some of you may know, maybe if you don't check uh, the social medias that I have, the Instagram and the Facebook and all that, then maybe you don't. But in 2023, Tempe Entertainment, J.R. Bookwalter, Make Flicks, and I got back together to make a reimagining of Mulva, and it's called Mulva Demon Ass Kicker. And we were finally able to, thanks to Mr. Bookwalter, we were finally able to talk about the film just this past March. And there are posters available now for the film. It is not Mulva Zombie Ass Kicker this time. 25 years ago, I made Mulva Zombie Ass Kicker. And then in 2004, I made Mulva 2 Kill Teen Ape. This is not a third in a trilogy. This is a reimagining of the first film, Mulva Demon Ass Kicker, which combines the world of the Filthy McNasty films that I've done and the Mulva world. And it is finally coming out this year. Um, and you can get a hold of me to grab one of these posters. I have a crap ton of them. Um, the trailer for the film has been done for months. Again, I'm just waiting for Tempe Digital and Make Flicks to release the trailer. Um, we plan on doing a indie theatrical run with it. I'm going to take it around to a bunch of indie theaters around the country before it hits video on demand and then later hits physical for Blu-ray and DVD. Hello, yes, you love your poster. Great, great. Um, yes, they're beautiful. These are beautiful posters, guys. My gosh, this is 13 by 19. And you can pick them up through me. But yeah, so the movie is coming. Um, it has been very frustrating, because we shot the movie 2 years ago. Uh, and um, JR Bookwalter, our producer, president of Tempe Digital and Make Flicks, he has been very. It's been interesting to see how he's dealt with this release so far. And I've made, in the past, I've made like 13 movies for him. Uh, you know, in a span of 20 some years. The original Mulva was 25 years ago, and I started doing stuff with JR 24 years ago. So um, this is the first time that I've made a movie for him that it has taken this long for any sort of release. Uh, but you know, I was happy when they released the poster. Again, I thought that the poster and the trailer were going to be dropped at the same time. I'm not sure why the trailer wasn't. Um, he he doesn't he talks to you when he wants to talk to you. He talks to you when there is something to say, I guess. So it doesn't do me any good as the filmmaker to try to keep getting a hold of him because I know he's just not going to answer. But rest assured, it's coming. It's coming this year, and there will be a press release, and I, of course, will be promoting the trailer everywhere. And as soon as we know when we can take the movie around, I'll be setting up screenings and whatnot. And if there's anybody out there who has an indie theater who wants to host it, we'll do our best to come out there and do a Q&A and show the movie and whatnot. Chicken Wizard, is JR going to do a signed Blu-ray like the Dirty Dozen? I have no idea. No idea. Um, again, he hasn't told me anything. Uh, so I don't know. I do know that the physical media is going to be the last thing that happens. So I wouldn't count on that. I would be again, it could change because he doesn't talk to me. But um, I would be surprised if it was before like the fall, a physical media release, or even winter. I don't know because I know he wants to do. I mean, we're going to do this showing it around the country thing first, and then he's going to do video on demand. And it might be even before streaming, before it goes up on Tubi and all that stuff. It might be a video on demand thing first, and then the physical media. So, uh, yeah, but you know, I do know you can get one of these beautiful posters from me right now for the film that when it does come out this year. Uh, it's gorgeous, and it's a really fun, stupid movie, guys. Like we had so much fun making it. I had so much fun writing it. Um, Everybody kills it in their performances. You know, it's really good. So I can't wait for people to see it. Um, so that's Malva. Oh, we also. We got this new release, which is the Warlock Home Video Double Feature Volume 3, Barbecue, and An Evening with Great Aunt Bedelia. It's got some fun extras, and this is the new release. And I think we've got 5 of these left. So you can grab those too. Uh, um, as for what's happening outside of the Wellsville Nights crap, which was a pain in the ass, but so in that July slot, we didn't really change much as far as who was still coming out. Um, but there is a company called Bloodscream Comics, and it's run by this dude Matt Brassfield, who I've known, geez, for 24 years. And he came to me and asked if we would make a shot on video horror flick for him. Um, and originally, it was announced that it was called "I Remember Halloween." That title will probably still happen, but later down the road with something else we do. So now we're gonna do this this thing called VHS. Uh, it's really dumb. It's gonna be really fun to make. Really stupid. It's gonna be bloody. Gonna have some boobies. And we're shooting that in the July spot where we were gonna do new episodes of Wellsville Nights. So VHS uh, shooting in July, and then I mean I don't know when Blood Scream is gonna put that out. They're gonna do a bunch of different releases by different filmmakers. Um, and so we're gonna jump back into our shot on VHS crapster pieces and do that for Blood Scream Comics. Uh, Goo, yo, can't wait for this. Goo, the only Mulva movie I honestly saw was Kill Teen Ape. It's gonna be bloody. It's gonna have some boobies with a pitch. That's right. Yeah. So this is a for just joining now. This is a reimagining of the original one, which I made 25 years ago, um, called Mulva Zombie Ass Kicker. Mulva 2 Kill Teen Ape was 2004. And they all star Debbie Rashawn. Well, Debbie is not playing Mulva this time. She only played Mulva in the second one. Debbie is playing one of the antagonists in the film. Um, we have a new Mulva. But yeah, it's fucking awesome. So yeah, well, those Death o' Lantern 3, Corn on the Macabre is of course shot on VHS. And that's when I started. I was shooting VHS in the 80s and 90s, and that's where low budget pictures all started for me. But Warlock Home Video was a way for me to go back to that and do all that lovely stuff. Uh, so yeah, VHS occur, VHS occur, a dumb title, which it's supposed to be. Blood Scream Comics is going to be putting that out, so we're going to shoot that in July. Um, and then if there's people who haven't seen or know about any of this shit or are just fans of the channel, and didn't know that I made comedy horror films and I've been making them for so long, you can go check out. There was a documentary. Now it's been 5 years since it was first made. There's a documentary called Zero Budget Heroes: The Legend of Chris Seaver and Low Budget Pictures that a filmmaker from Seattle made. Um, Came to us in 2019 and asked if we wanted to be a part of a documentary because he felt there was a story to tell about my shit and everything. He was a fan of my stuff. His name is Zach Oliveris, and that documentary is now on Tubi and Amazon Prime, so you can watch it and you can see how from my birth in 1977 till up till the doc was ended in 2021. Um, how it all went down, how I started making this ridiculous shit. And you can check that stuff out. Um, Golden. That's right. You can't wait to see me. Well, okay. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. But there's some good shit in Malva. And Jason McCall plays a wonderful brand new Mr. Bonejack. Um, and so after VHS in July, um, we are making finally since 2008 when we made the original Terror at Bloodfart Lake, and then in 2010 We made Return to Bloodfart Lake, um, but we are finally making a third Bloodfart Lake movie um, in September, and it's called The Curse of Bloodfart Lake. And we are bringing back the characters of Ben and Leo and Jimmy Van Brunt and Hambone, um, and Ashley Sawyer and some other surprises for the third film. We are finally doing it for SRS Cinema. They just gave us a teaser poster to put up, and you can find the teaser poster for Curse for Bloodfart Lake on our um, Instagram and Facebook pages. Um, yeah, so I'm writing that. I'm writing VHS and um, Bloodfart 3 basically at the same time. I'm doing it concurrently. Um, so that's been interesting. That's been fun. Um, and I hope Andrew and Clinton are reimagining vigilant or remaining vigilant. Andrew and Clinton, yes, of course, they're remaining vigilant. Um, and of course, they're a part of the new projects. They're usually in almost everything we do. And Clint shoots everything we do. Uh, and yes, he is shooting VHS and he's shooting Bloodfart 3. His Lord 3. Yo, Jason as Bonejack? Yes. Yes. Jason McCall is a new Mr. Bonejack. Leo, yes. Ben, yes. Will there be more Caspian? I don't know if you're going to see more Caspian in Bloodfart 3. You might. Um, I'm still going back and forth on that. But Caspian does show up in Mulva, Demon Ass Kicker, in a very fun scene. And Leo's in it. I mean, this is Leo, basically Debbie's character, Ginger, and Leo, Josh as Leo, they're the two antagonists outside of the sex demons. Um, but yeah, so I'm doing that now. There's going to be they're setting up a Indiegogo for Bloodfart 3. Um, I'm not sure when that's going to be launched. SRS Cinema is going to be launching that. Um, so hopefully all the fans come out and support it, and we can make a kick-ass Bloodfart 3. I know where we're shooting it, which is awesome. It's an awesome location. Um, Billy Garbarina is coming back to play uh, Jimmy Van Brunt and Hambone, um, Deathbone himself. Deathbone, maybe Deathbone will make a cameo. I don't know, but Billy is coming back to play Jimmy. Um, but yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be some good shit. Some good shit. I'm trying to get Marilyn Mason to come and do it. She did Evil Night with us in 2014, and since then we've been trying to make another movie together. Um, but she is busy. But we have talked about bringing her out for Bloodfart 3. I don't know if it's going to work scheduling wise, but we'll see. Uh, I cannot wait. Killer duo, Piss Lord. The fact you assemble this crew just tickles me. Yeah, they're my friends. They're my friends. I talk to almost all of them every single day. When we don't make a movie, then we make sure we see each other, if not once, several times a year. You know, they're my best friends, man. I love them. Bowtie Toy Guy, your '80s room tours are awesome. Thank you. Um, there's a new one up there. Well, not a new one, but I did it a few months ago. There is some things going on up there, uh, and I haven't made a video yet. Once again, I am changing some things around. I got a couple of new shelves to put in there, and I got some more Masters of the Universe cartoon collection origins stuff to show off. Um, so that room is still sort of evolving as it always does. And there's some new stuff down in the horror theater room as well. New shelving, and I rearranged a bunch of stuff. Um, and there's a quick video of that you can check out on my Instagram at Warlock Home Video. Did you get anything in the Vinegar Syndrome halfway sale? Chicken Wizard. No, I'm not a. Y- for the most part, I think Vinegar Syndrome. uh, there's and a lot of the boutique companies do it. It's a lot of bottom of the barrel stuff that and I'm not a the way I collect, if you know, I don't collect just random willy-nilly shit. I just don't do it. I have to see the movie first for me to buy it. If I like it, then I'll buy it. If I don't, I never want to see it again. That type of thing. Um, so I don't over clutter. I don't collect just to collect. Um, there has to be something that I absolutely love. So either I'll see it in the theater first, or I'll rent it on video on demand or streaming, um, for me to make that decision. I don't blind buy; it's a waste of money. Um, so yeah, so Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, there has been some gems off and on, but most of their stuff, to me, is bottom of the barrel stuff, and they just have a loyal following who just buys everything they put out, and I'm just not one of those people. And I'm like that with any of the companies that I love. You know, it's just how it is. Piss Lord, Chris, I need 10 more films at least. I don't know what you have and what you don't have. Um, you can. There's so many of my films. I guess you're talking about the films that I've made. I made 65 movies. A lot of them are out in the world through different companies, and then a lot of them I only sell. Um, so I don't know what you've seen. Uh, I do have ads up of some of the stuff that you can get on my war, Facebook pages and my Instagram, stuff like that. Uh, I mostly go for some of the gems that Ross does with Saturn's core. Yeah, again, I mean, one man's poop is another man's chocolatey goodness. It's gotta. I just can't blind buy. I just can't. Regardless of my love of Ross and my connection and friendship with Ross, you know, I just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it kind of it pisses me off that the only way you can get Haunted Ween is on Blu-ray is through their box set that they have, and I've been waiting for that box set to go down for me to pull the trigger. Um, it's Homegrown Horrors Volume 3 that has Haunted Ween. That movie is so fucking terrible, and I love it. I love it, and the Blu-ray looks incredible uh, for that shitty movie. But I want that. Um, but I don't want the other two movies in the set, and that set is usually like $80 or more, and then the half off it was like $40. Like, man, I just can't pull the trigger. $40 for Haunted Ween. I could do 20, maybe 25. Maybe 30. That's pushing it. Um, but yeah, you know, like I didn't pull the trigger for that big ass like grindhouse release of the Beyond. The Beyond is my favorite Fulci film. I love that film. I still have the Arrow Blu-ray from when that was originally released, but I want the 4K real bad. I'm not gonna get that set because I know that at some point there's gonna be a, you know, single release of that on the 4K, um, and that's when I'll pull the trigger. I don't want all that bullshit that comes with it. I have the soundtrack already. I don't need all the dumb shit that comes with it, and I should have waited for Trick or Treat when Trick or Treat was released, because I love that movie and I wanted that 4K. And until I pulled the trigger, spent that like $75 on that box. Um, then a couple days later, they said, "Oh, and we're going to be doing a single release down the road," but they had already taken my money, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just get it." But I would have just gotten the single release, you know. Um, all I care about is the movie and the special features. That's all I care about. I don't care about all the dumb shit that comes along with it. What am I gonna do with that dumb shit? It's just a box on your shelf. No thanks. Not for me. Not for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'll wait for the Beyond. I was so happy that uh, Trauma showed that they're going to be releasing the Toxic Avengers separately because I didn't want to get that set, that 4K set. I only love the first movie, and so now they're finally going to release them separately in 4K. So I'll get the first movie. But show, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so yeah, so we've got some great stuff coming. And again, you can, the two new releases are I wish I had it up here, but um, you know, Death o' Lantern 3, Corn on the Macabre, and Warlock Volume 3, Barbecue, Great Abedelia. We have 5 left of. Terrible craps shot on VHS crapster pieces from Warlock Home Video. See me. Um, Another good thing about doing putting the deal together for Bloodfart 3 is that they're finally going to release a Blu-ray of the original films, which fans have bugged for years. Bugged me, and I've told them, "Hey, I can't. There's nothing I can say about it. You got to bug, SRS Cinema." But that's part of what's happening. There's finally going to be an official Blu-ray release. See, the movie was shot HD widescreen. The original Bloodfart Lake movie in 2008. It was HD widescreen, and at that point, it was our first HD production. Um, but for some reason, when SRS released it, they released the movie in pan and scan, and in almost like the worst fucking degraded version possible. And that was put out on DVD and on all the streaming sites. And it's always infuriated me. So I always had my personal copy of the HD widescreen version of that movie. Um, and I even made my own, I had my buddy Zach make me my personal version, Blu-ray of that film so that I can watch it the way that we shot it. So that's another fun thing for me is that it's finally coming out, um, on Blu-ray the way that it's supposed to be seen, um, and we'll be able to do brand new special features and all of that stuff. Um, you can watch. sort of a making of on this channel, on my channel, Equip from the '80s of Bloodfart Lake, the original from 2008. I also have the cast read through of Ski Wolf from 2008 as well. I just need to digitize it, and put it up on the channel. But yeah, that's up. We have that going for us too. Yeah, I gotta get that super soon. I need the new WQ double feature since you can't get it from SOVR anymore. That's right, Chicken Wizard. You can't. Um, Golden, will Bloodfart 3 have a music video? I don't know. I don't know if we will. 2 didn't have a music video. Um, I'll be reanimating my feet to get the new Bloodfart Blue for sure. Hell yeah. Please don't stop what you're doing. It's good. Thank you. No, I mean, I haven't. I haven't stopped. There were pauses for sure, you know, but I'm 48 this year. This almost I'm turning 48 in the summer, and I'm still making this dumb shit. Still making this dumb shit. Um, as I said in the documentary, like I don't know, I can't stop one way or the other. I'm still gonna keep making this dumb garbage. I mean, Radikill. We've got Radikill. So Radikill is gonna hopefully be made next year. Finally, after like 6-7 years of marination on that thing. Um, Radical is coming next year, and I think that's going to be the big one that we do next year. Like I wasn't planning on doing multiple projects this year; it just sort of happened that way. Um, so yeah, depending on what happens from now till when we launch the Radical Indiegogo, um, you know, I hope for my sake, Radical is the only big one we do next year. Who is the guy who looks like David Blaine in the Bloodfart music video because he's not in the movie, I think. Um, I think you mean with the creepy goatee and everything. I think that's what you mean. His name was Dominic. Um, he did stuff with us for a while. He's actually in I Spit Chew on Your Grave. He plays a character in that. Um, he plays a character in Deathbone. Um, he shot Bloodfart Lake, the first Bloodfart Lake. That guy Dominic. Um, oh, I will stay perpetual Peter Pan. I'll never not be a kid at heart. He does the spoken word. Yeah, that's Dominic. I mean, he wasn't with us that long. It was pretty much only a year or so that he did stuff with us. That was Mini Moons. I haven't seen him since 2009, I think. But yeah. Um, well, there you go. He is the mysterious goatee man. Billy and I have been talking for years about doing like a King Deathbone type of thing, like a Deathbone in his dotage, you know, like King Conan sitting on the throne, all bearded and grizzled, and what his life is now. We I wrote another Deathbone movie uh years ago called Revengeance, and you can watch the cast read through on this channel. Um, and we just never made it, and so that's why we did the read through. And then after doing the read through, we were like, man, this why haven't we made this yet? Um, but it's funny, maybe one day we'll make Revengeance. I don't know, but it's a great Deathbone movie for people who like the character. These cats meow at me. Carter, stuffing, stuck in traffic. Yes, Carter. I was just relaying everything that's been going on production wise, all the things that are coming, all the things that uh, you know still have to be released. Speaking of that, oh, like along the lines of the Warlock Home Video Volume 3 title, we are a new LBP Classics Blu-ray is coming this year. Um, I found a couple. I found so in 1994. Oh no, 1993. We did a movie called Bloody Bobby, which was based off my own like comic book creation that I did. Um, and it was put out through Cemetery Cinema on VHS back then in 93, 94, called Church Boy. They changed the title to Church Boy. I'm still kind of um, wondering why. The movie's called Bloody Bobby. But I was able to get back Bloody Bobby, and our in 1994 we made a version of um, Jason versus Freddy, uh, another fan film we did. So we're gonna be doing a Blu-ray that has our Jason versus Freddy from 1994 and Bloody Bobby from 1993, and then it's gonna have a bunch more footage from the early 90s of stuff that nobody's seen before. And that's what I like to do on those low budget pictures classics Blu-rays is put so much of the shit that I still have on VHS. Because I didn't really throw anything away. Anything that I've been shooting since the late '80s on, I've kept. I have tons of VHS still, and I have tons of mini DV um, that have so much stuff on them, and I like putting a lot of that raw footage and movies that didn't make it or things like that. I like including those on the Blu-rays for the hardcore fans because not everyone's gonna enjoy that shit. It's a lot of garbage, but I think the hardcore fans like seeing a lot of that stuff. Um, You were so awesome in Quest for the Egg Salad. I'm pretty sure you just got you because you haven't aged a day since. Yeah, I hate Quest. I'm in a lot of stuff. Every now and again I pop in. It just depends on what you see. You know, I'll do little characters here and there, like Johnny Douchebag or Jock de Queef. You know, um, I'll pop in as Ernest from time to time in the background. You know, but I don't like playing the major roles anymore. You and that's mainly because I hate. So I love writing this stuff, but I don't like. I can't say my dialogue. Um, my friends who are the actors in my movies, they always give me shit. You know, they're like, You're writing all these fucking ridiculous words and monologues for me to say, and you expect me to say it, but when you, Chris, get in front of the camera, you can't fucking do it. You take like 9 takes, and you're screwing everything up. You know, because I like to when I do it, I go off on weird tangents and fucking add shit that just makes everybody laugh, and then we can never do it. So I don't really like writing parts for me anymore. I'm pretty comfortable just writing and directing, being behind the camera, and on occasion jumping in there and doing some dumb characters. Uh, I've been wanting that Bloody Bobby. Hell yeah! Did Todd Cook? Cook finally hooked me up with that stuff. Yes, and some other stuff, which is great. Um, so it's exciting that I'm gonna be able to finally release those. That double feature. Bloody Bobby 2. I mean, Bloody Bobby 2. There's footage of Bloody Bobby 2 on some of the other LBP Classics Blu-rays. I'm not quite sure which releases. I think we're up to 8 releases now of the maybe 7 or 8. I don't know of the LBP Classics Blu-rays. Um, and I know I did include some of that Bloody Bobby 2 footage. We never finished it. It was just a lot of footage, a lot of um, gore set pieces, a lot of special effects set pieces for that. Minty Dave. Yeah, thank you. We want to see me, Bloody Bobby. Yeah, you'll see it. Yes, me as Ernest kicks ass. Sure. But so yeah, that's coming. That'll be coming relatively soon. I mean, we'll probably be releasing pre-orders for that soon. Um, I would think by July, pre-orders will go up for that. Um, and the posters are $20 shipped in the U.S. Um, I I just shipped I shipped 2 posters to Canada. 2 of these. This is 13 by 19, and the tubes are very small, and it cost $18 to ship that poster to Canada. Fucking sucked. It's like, holy shit. It was nuts. Yes, Ernest does run around in the Wellsville Nights pilot. Besides Cinema Wasteland, what are your favorite cons to attend for selling your stuff? Um, it's Horror Hound is really good. Um, Monster Mania used to be good, but now selling there kind of sucks because they care more about their celebrities and making room for the autograph hounds. So it kind of fucks over the vendors. So Monster Mania used to be great, but Horror Hound is still really good and really indie friendly. I mean, Cinema Wasteland is almost the number one go to for indie filmmakers to sell at. Chiller has gotten too expensive. Chiller Theater, Creature Feature Weekend is pretty awesome for indie folk. Um, it's a crapshoot. It really is a crapshoot. Um, I mean, and we've been selling at conventions since 1996, going to conventions since 1993. It's changed so much. Um, and even with us, like, some shows we do okay, um, and you barely break even. And then some shows they're like through the roof, and you're just like, holy shit, you know. Um, I did a show in Florida. I guess it's 2 years now since I did that show in Florida, and I thought it was going to be a bust, but it was great, you know. 'Cause you just never know. And certainly with us, it's I think we have an advantage because we've been doing it for so long, and we have so much product out there, and the movies are everywhere, and I have a cult following and a name out there for good or bad, for better or worse. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think any of the any of the conventions that really treat you well and sort of love to welcome the indie filmmaker and the indie artist, anybody like that is, you want to support. So, you know, besides, I always buy it. Is there a way to still get the most recent Halloween and Christmas mixtapes you did, or are they done for? I think I still have. I think I have. Let me see. Well, I've got the Christmas one right there. But yeah, I think I can do a Halloween one. Um, yeah. Let's see. Is there a way to get Mulva Zombie Ass Kicker? 25 years ago, Mulva Zombie Ass Kicker, and now there's Mulva Demon Ass Kicker, which is coming this year. And Bloodfart Lake 3, finally, after 17 years. Let's see. These movies are one of a kind, for real, for real. Thank you, Piss Lord. Aaron McNabb. In Geek War, you refer to Andrew's character Butthole separately as a hardcore hole and also a gentle opening. Is it really both? I love you. Thank you. Yes. Yes, that character is based on a real person. I want more Phil Collins references. We all do, because those filthy McNasty demons, they are easy lovers. You know it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Curse of Bloodfart Lake, Bloodfart 3. Finally. Chicken. I will never get Sean C. Phillips in anything again. Um, hold on. Anyway, that's a no thanks for Sean Phillips. Um, he did 2 movies with us, Filthy McNasty 4 and Geek War in 2010, 2010, and that's all for that. And again, you can check out the teaser poster that SRS Cinema put out for The Curse of Bloodfart Lake, the newest production. You can go to our Instagram, my Instagram at Warlock Home Video, and see it there, or on our Facebook pages, Christopher J. Seaver or Warlock Home Video Network. Um, and again, if you want to see that documentary that was made about us, it's on Tubi. It's called Zero Budget Heroes: The Legend of Chris Seaver in Low Budget Pictures. It's already 5 years old, but it hit streaming in 2023, the summer of 2023. Chicken Wizard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there wasn't. I mean, there wasn't really a falling out. It was just. I mean, he came. He just. you know, he just turned into a real somebody, a real piece of work. Um. Uh. Carter. How did I get hooked up with SRS? Actually, I have known. Well, it is. It is an up and down. It's up and down. It is definitely an up and down. But I've known Ron Bonk since 1995, and before that, I had bought movies on VHS through his company, um, Salt City Home Video, in the early 90s, 94, 95. He was doing a lot of VHS. He was selling a lot of stuff, so I would buy other filmmakers' work from his stuff, and I sent him sort of a care package, and he sent me back a letter, and we talked through letters back then. Very, very similar to how I got hooked up with Todd Cook in 1993. Sort of that same way. Um, it's just funny that it took. I didn't start making movies for SRS until geez 2007, 2008. I started making movies for Ron Bonk. And at the same time, I was still making movies for J.R. Bookwalter. Um, I made a shit ton of movies for Ron, and I made a shit ton of movies for JR, and it's always ups and downs. It's ups and downs, and you know, you get angry, and then you talk, and you get angry, and then you talk, and then you know, you just I don't know. I'm glad I have those relationships. You know what I mean? And growing up and watching movies, watching those shot on VHS movies in the late '80s and early '90s are part of what was continuing to push me to keep going. Seeing all those filmmakers, Todd Cook and Ron and Jr. and the Polonia brothers and Todd Sheets, and all those guys. You know, Eric Stanzi, um, and then of course the Trauma doing getting hooked up with Trauma so early, but being a fan since '89 of the Trauma stuff. Um, it has been sort of incredible to be able to work with so many of the people and become friends with so many of the people that I was inspired by um, growing up, um, and to have like working relationships with so many of them. It's been cool. Bruce, hello, Bruce. Yes, I'm live here. I'm live. Chicken Wizard. I have one of the tapes you sent to Ron in the '90s with a letter. A word? Um, I got it on eBay. That's hilarious. Uh, Piss Lord, you are a wizard, still figuring it out. Work. Okay. Would you consider branching out into distributing other filmmakers' movies or not? I tried that. When the switch from low budget pictures to Warlock Home Video in 2011. Um, I put out some stuff for Chris LaMartina. So when Chris LaMartina was like 16, 15, maybe, um, he came to LBP when he was first working on um, his Amerikill back then when he was a teenager, and he came to us when we had just, geez, started the deals and working with Trauma and J.R. Bookwalter and wanted us to put out Amerikill. And I was like, "No, I mean, we can't do that. We're not doing that." But so when we did Warlock Home Video, I was like, "Hey, because we're going to be releasing VHS, Chris, do you want us to put out Amerikill at that point?" And then we put out uh, Matt Brassfield's Werewolf of Ohio, and Joe Sherlock did Bloody Red Lips of Blood for us. And the problem is, and in all honesty, it just was like, unfortunately, and it was no fault of anybody, but those titles just didn't sell. You know what I mean? They didn't sell. So we would sell them. I mean, we'd put them on the tables. They were on the websites at the time. And only our stuff, the stuff that we made in house, was selling. Um, and I mean, I didn't care that we weren't making any money from it because we were going to give money to those filmmakers who were, but we just didn't make any money from it. And you know, so it was just kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I, I'm not that. I'm not a business. I'm really not a business. I prefer just making the movies. Quite honestly, I just prefer making movies and letting other companies deal with them as long as I can, get a good deal out of that company. Um, I don't like dealing with all the other shit. That's why we don't have a website anymore. I don't want to do with that. If somebody wants something from me personally, I would rather just have the fan get a hold of me, and we just do PayPal and shit like that. Unless we're at a convention, and then we're deliberately, we have a table and we're selling and stuff. But I'm a filmmaker. I'm not a businessman. You know. What is your favorite character and why isn't it Bonejack? It is not Bonejack. My character that I've played or my character that I've created. Uh, I don't think I really favorite any of the stuff that I've played. I mean, I enjoy playing Johnny Douchebag or Jock DeQueef. Um, but I mean, I love creating Deathbone, creating Leo, uh, you know, Skippy, Lance, um, creating those into what they are. Um, I love those characters. I love Heather and Pugly. Um, you know, um, yeah. I mean, working to create characters with Jason is amazing. I love writing Leo. Creating Leo was great. Creating Caspian was great, and Josh does not like playing Caspian. Um, Andrew doesn't like playing Skippy, but boy, do I love writing them. So. Golden John Wick. I mean, people got to see Death of Lantern 3 to see the majesty. I loved creating Gwendolyn Bouvier and then writing her, but everyone hated her. Everyone hates her. You know, uh, and Jessie was amazing. She was great at playing Gwen. When I create characters, it's you. I sort of come up with an idea of what I want, and then I go to the person. I go to my friend and say, "Hey, this is the character that I want you to play," and then I say, "This is sort of what I'm working on, what I sort of like, what I think will be funny." And then we work on that character. They always ask me, "What voice do you want? What kind of characterization do you want?" And we just kind of go from there. And then if they do it good and if it comes out really well and if it makes me laugh, I love writing for that character. And if you see a lot of recurring characters, it's because I really enjoy writing it and I love watching my friends play that character. Um, it's very rare do I take a character to somebody and they say no. You know, very rare. I don't know if it's it may have happened one or two times, but for the most part, anything that I take to them, they're usually on board for. You know, so Bruce, you can get a hold of me at warlockhomevideo@gmail.com, and I can sort of tell you what's going on for Bloodfart 3. I'm shooting another movie before Bloodfart 3 called VHS Occur. That's going to be shot on VHS. We're shooting that in July. And in September, we're shooting Bloodfart 3. Again, folks, you can see the SRS put a teaser poster for Bloodfart 3 up, and it's on my Instagram or my Facebook pages. Um, but yeah, you can. holla at me there, Bruce, to get more info on that. warlockhomevideo@gmail.com. Aaron, I joined late, so I'm not sure if you gave an update, but I wanted to say you're looking great and I hope your health has improved and you're feeling better. Oh, yes, I did. I did. Right at the beginning, I updated when I was going through the the bullshit that is the Wellsville Nights catastrophe, and the curse of Wellsville Nights that keeps happening. But yes, luckily last year, during that, I mean, it was a terrible 3 months at the end of the year last year. Summer going into fall, it sucked. It sucked. But everything's good. You know, I came out of it. Thank you for asking. Um, I'm turning 48 in July. Feeling pretty good. Things are things are good, productive. We were able to make Death of Lantern 3 Corn on the Macabre uh, in October of last year and put that out. Um, so yeah, things are going. Things are going. Still, for those who come in late, just joining Mulva, demon ass kicker. 25 years after the original movie, we have the reimagined Mulva demon ass kicker, and that is coming this year. And the trailer's going to be coming soon. I'm just waiting for Tempe Digital and Makeflix to release that trailer. You can get the posters now through us. Um, this is Deanna Naja, and she is the new Malva, and she is also in Wellsville Nights as Jennifer, but she is outstanding. Um, Debbie Rashawn is back, of course. She's playing Ginger McLarge Huge here. Jason McCall, Meredith Host, of course, as D'Artagnan once again. Alec Lambert as Lance. Lance is pretty much every character that I make him play, but now he's Lance as the demon. And then over here is Olivia, who is playing Clunge, the demon, and then of course Leo is down here. And there's some other surprises in here. Um, some great surprises in there. Yes, people can get a hold of me to find out what you can donate to become a producer and to get some cool shit and all that good stuff. Um, Aaron, the Curse of Wellsville Nights sounds awesome. What you're feeling? The Curse of Wellsville Nights is not awesome. That's a real curse. It's terrible. It sucks. So we had to push Wellsville Nights even more. But we're making Bloodfart Lake 3, The Curse of Bloodfart Lake, um, and VHS occur this year. So that's amazing. Looking forward to everything you've got coming. Thanks. I just turned 48 in March. Yeah, so you're right there with me. 77 babies, baby. 77 babies. Woo, woo. Yeah, I wish I could. Maybe I can. Can I? Oh, no, I can't. Sucks. I was gonna say if I was able to put the Bloodfart 3 poster in here, but you can check it out over at my Instagram. I can just show you here. I don't know how well that'll come through. Yes. This is a teaser poster that SRS had made. That's not going to be the official poster, but Jimmy Van Brunt is back for show. So yeah, we still have some great stuff going on. There's still some good shit happening. regardless of having to push Wellsville Nights again. Um, and then, I'm going to be promoting. I'll end up, you know, we're shooting these two features and then promoting Mulva this year. I'll still be promoting Mulva next year, but then I'll be promoting Bloodfart 3 and VHS next year. And then gearing up for production for Radical next year. Uh, and I don't know if anybody goes to the Mahoning Drive-In in Pennsylvania. It's an amazing drive-in. They do so many amazing screenings there, all 35 millimeter. Um, but we are going to VHS Fest at the Mahoning in July, and we're going to be shooting some footage for VHS Occur at VHS Fest. So that'll be fun. Working in your first series feels a whole different than the movie. So much more to juggle production wise. It's absolutely. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Um, I started writing Wellsville Nights during the pandemic. Um, and since then, we've only been able to make that pilot. And we have 7 other episodes written. It is a struggle. I mean, so turning it into the movie of the week after school special type thing is the best way to go for my sanity at the moment. It'll still have that aesthetic. It's still going to be shot that way with that vintage camera, and it's going to have that vintage look and everything. And it's just now I'll just be taking elements from the scripts to you know connect the pilot and all of it into a 2-hour made for TV movie type thing. You know, which will still ultimately end up on Tubi at some point, um, and probably YouTube as well. So, but getting those '90s broadcast cameras, um, that was a real boon for Wellsville Nights for that production. It was awesome. Um, it really helped, you know, lend to the authenticity of. And I don't like filters. I'm not a filter guy. If I'm going to shoot, so if I want something to look like it's on VHS or shot to tape, then that's how I'm going to shoot. I don't shoot modern and then put filters over it. Uh, you know, right off the bat that it's it's not analog. So I prefer that for those for those types of projects that we do. Um, I mean, everything else now we're shooting with the red camera. So outside of the VHS stuff that we do. Yeah, Aaron. No, there won't be a. It won't be like a wet hot American summer thing. No. Let's see. So I'm gonna I can probably stay on for another half hour. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions or not. Not. Stick around a little more. And if y'all have some indie theaters that you know that are around you that would cater to doing screenings, you know, let me know. Um, Send me an email because we are going to be booking some screens for Mulva Demon Ass Kicker. Any new thoughts about aliens? I mean, they're here, man. They've been here. What do you want to know? What else do you want to know? I 100% am a believer. Always have been my entire life. Bruce, what made you decide to end Teen Ape? The same. I mean, it happened at the same time as Bone Jack. Really, I just got tired of writing them. Both Casey and I got tired of playing them, and I got just sick of writing them. And it became sort of it was the only thing that our fans were like asking for were Teen Ape and Bone Jack movies, and I didn't care anymore. you know, um, for me, it was getting really stale playing them and writing them, and officially, their ends were. I mean, Bone Jack's end was 2006, and Teen Ape's official end was 2007. And then I stupidly brought Teen Ape back for Sex Squatch 2. Um, and it was a giant mistake. And we all agreed. Like, Sex Squatch 2 was a giant mistake just in general. We should not have made Sex Squatch 2. Um, I didn't have the best time writing it. We definitely did not have a good time making it. It was a very stupid decision, much like Return to Bloodfart Lake. We should not have made Bloodfart Lake 2. Um, and when we were making Sex Watch 2, and as I was writing again for Teen Ape and Casey was playing him again, we were just like, man, this was so lame. So fucking lame. We were just like, uh, 13 Ape written well? No. No, Bruce will never do Teen Ape, and that'll never happen again. For Bloodfart 3, I'm gonna be making fun of Bloodfart 2 for sure. I mean, I'm acting like part 2 didn't even exist, but I'm gonna be ripping it a new one throughout the movie. Shouldn't have been done. But we have a funny way into part 3, and you know, I've been sort of poking fun at a part 3 for a long time, so uh, it was another reason I said yes to part 3 because for years have sort of thought about how I would do it and where it would be and how I would make fun of part 2 in part 3. Uh, would I ever do any more remake style movies like Evil Knight? Yeah, if somebody came to me, Todd came to me. Um, you know, I for me, this will never happen, but I've thought about doing it myself and then just giving it to Charles Band, but I'm there's a movie called Doctor Alien from 1989 that I adore. Dave Dakota directed it. Um, it's Charles Band. It was an Empire movie. Um, the original title was "I Was a Teenage Sex Mutant from Outer Space," and I've always wanted to do my version of that movie or a remake of that movie. Um, and I've thought about taking it to Charles Band and just being like, "Listen, we can work out a deal later, but I would love to do this and just give it to you because I'd have so much fun doing that." But yes, I would do a remake, a Chris Seaver version of other films that I love, if given the chance. If yeah, sure. Because you know, Doctor Alien is a movie right up my alley. It's mwah. Thank you, Darknesses. Thank you. We've talked a lot about them. You'd probably have to go back and watch this video, but I did talk a lot about what's happening, what's not happening, all that good stuff. Yes, you gotta get the new Death Lantern. Death Lantern 3, Corn and the Macabre, Bloodfart 3 is coming, VHS Occur is coming. Finally, the release of Mulva Demon Ass Kicker is coming 2 years later. What the fuck? Productions abound. Mm. Oh, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing now? God damn it. Oh, oh god. Anything else you want to hear? Mm. Two of the most intentionally bad shot on VHS flicks you'll ever cream. Mm. Maybe I'm out of the loop, but would your shot on VHS flicks have VHS releases or only Blu-ray releases? So back in the day when Warlock first started, we did do VHS releases. And VHS occur is going to have a VHS release, but not through us. That's going to be Bloodscream um, doing that. I think it's going to have a. I think it'll have all three. I think it'll have VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. At some point, I think we are going to bring back the VHS for some of the Warlock titles, the VHS Warlock titles. Um, I know for a while through Future Video, you could get the Weirdsies on VHS. Um, Ron Bonk at SRS Cinema for a while had Sex Squatch 1 on VHS. He put out Geek War on VHS. Um, Future Video also put out Mulva 1 and 2. They edited together Mulva 1 and 2 to make one long movie like the like the Kill Bill thing, the whole bloody affair. Um, and they had a Mulva VHS for a while, you know. Coming up to Cleveland anytime soon? I don't think so. Maybe we'll be at Cinema Wasteland. I'm just not sure. Um, that's only because I don't know. I don't know what we'll have release wise. I don't know if the new Malva will be out on physical yet. Um, I still might be doing indie screenings of it at theaters, at small theaters. I don't know if that's going to be out yet. I know that MakeFlix is also releasing. Like we gave them new extras and new remasters of Death of Lantern 1, 2, and Death of Lantern the remake um, a couple of years ago now, and they're supposed to be releasing a brand new Blu-ray of Death of Lantern 1 and 2 and the remake all together with all the extras that we made for them. That's supposed to come out, so I don't know when that's coming out. You know, um, so I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. Really, um, Cinema Wasteland was a home away from home for us. Let's see when they are. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what's happening. Uh, Darknesses, yes. There is LBP Classics. I can't remember if it's volume 9 now that we're releasing. I did talk about it earlier, but yeah, we're doing a double feature of Bloody Bobby from 1993 and our Jason versus Freddy from 1994, along with a crap ton of raw footage from the early 90s of stuff that nobody's seen, you know. So that volume is coming out this summer. I'm going to be doing a pre-order for that probably by July. And then we just put out that Warlock Home Video Volume 3 with Q and Great Aunt Bedelia. there's something coming up. There's something that's happening in Bloodfart 3 that I'm really excited for fans to see. Um, I'm not going to say anything just yet, but I probably shouldn't have said anything. But there's something. There's a couple of familiar faces that are popping up in that. I'll send a message on Facebook sometime if that's cool to order some stuff in a month. Yeah, Darknesses, of course. Hit me up anytime. You know. Really happy to hear all these dank updates. I don't know what's with all the dank in here, man. Man, I don't say dank. You too, Darknesses. You too, my friend. Thank you for the constant support, Darknesses. I'll be on for another 15 minutes. Did I end up getting any snow this winter? Of course. It's Western New York. Of course we did. It was bad for, I mean, our winters up here last like 6 months. We're just finally coming out of cold weather. Um, but yeah, we got snow. We got snow. Not as much as Buffalo, which is an hour from us. They get hit way worse than us. Piss Lord. I don't believe that. Any movie you've seen recently really inspire you? For me, every time I rewatch Martin, I feel like creating. Um, no, no, nothing recent. I watch a lot of stuff, but nothing has really like been like, man, you know. Um, my, s- you know, what inspires me, I guess. I mean, I just think of dumb shit, and then that inspires me to keep going and make dumb shit. Um, I write down a lot on notepads, and if I don't have the notepad next to me, then I put it in my phone. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and be laughing because something dumb was in my dream, and I'll have to write it down, or I think of a dumb word or a dumb set piece for something, and I don't necessarily know what it's going to go into, but I write it down, and then when I have projects, I can throw those things into it. So usually my own stupidity can can inspire me to get cooking. You know. On the alien tip, guys, you should the Age of Disclosure. Um, you should check that out. The trailer. It's coming. It played at South by Southwest. It was a documentary that was being made secretly for 2 years, and it's finally coming out. I I can't remember what company bought it, but I think it's getting a theatrical release and then coming out. It's funny, like a lot of filmmakers, uh, including Spielberg. There's three filmmakers who are making movies about this subject. But the Age of Disclosure is going to be wild. But I watch a lot of um, I've watched all the congressional hearings about what's been happening and um, everything coming out of uh, our government and the people who are whistleblowing and all that stuff. But Age of Disclosure looks fucking dope, and it's furthering the opening of the can of worms that no one's going to be able to close anymore. So that's going to be awesome. We're going to be making a new short of Dogflesh versus Bigfoot this summer, which is exciting. Excellent. If you come out for Bloodfart 3, I want you to bring Dogflesh, please. Aaron McNabb, do you think we get some hard evidence? Uh, I do. I think, there's, I always say that, and I wish people would think about this a little more, but, ultimately it comes down to it's not up for any of the world's government to um, disclose, really, because there's going to be a point where they can only hide their bullshit for so long, and it's just going to happen, with or without the world's governments, uh, you know, doing their arbitrary disclosures by themselves or slow disclosures, whatever, which is what they're calling what's happening now. Um, I mean, it just continues to, kind of shine a light on the hubris of the creatures that we all call humans. Um, you know, when when we are nothing, we don't know anything. We we think that we don't know anything, and we like to believe that we do. And our science, our technology, and our human capacity of things can only go so far. When really we're just organism, we're just creatures on a fucking space rock in the middle of a vast universe upon universe upon universe upon universe that we just, we like to think that we're very special, but I don't think we are, and I love that. Um, so I'm all for catastrophic disclosure, which is what they call it in the government, which is what they don't want. Um, but I say, bring it the fuck on, one way or the other. Let's go. Thank you, Chicken Wizard. Thank you. That's right, Aaron. Hell yeah. See me, me, me. I love talking about that stuff. Like, I luckily, there's a good portion of my friends, the gang that I always call the people in these films, that also are believers, and we really go down the rabbit hole and talk a lot about this stuff, and we love it. We're all very much on the same page, so it's a thrill. I enjoy it. I also enjoy watching the people squirm and get scared who aren't 100% on our page, who are my friends and in on the talks and everything, and watch them squirm, thinking about the realities of the situation. And you know, I thrive in that. I like it. Because a lot of folks need that veneer. A lot of folks have that, like, you know, oh, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't have to think about it, truly, if I don't have to think about it, then I'm not going to, because the thinking about it frightens them, and it doesn't frighten me. There's not a day that goes by that I don't go outside and look up, you know, and think to myself, wow, we as humans are always we're striving to get to space when we are in space. We're already in space. We're little tiny creatures on a on a rock floating in space. You know, I love it. It's great. It's wonderful. You know, incredible. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm all about it. You know, I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in I believe the Bible is a not a terribly good science fiction fantasy novel. um, it's a bunch of gobbledygook made up by a bunch of gobbledygooks made up by a bunch of gobbledygooks. I'm not religious. I don't. I never have been. Um, I've sort of always been a free thinker. Um, and from a very young age, I've believed that we are not alone, and you know, and just as I've gotten older, it's just gotten even more stronger. It's the I find us as creatures pretty repugnant. Um, I think we're kind of pieces of garbage, and um, I don't like the way that we sort of hold ourselves up to these great things. Um, that's just us. That's just our thinking, and that's the way uh, you know it's become. But I don't think that way. As much as I love my life, I love my friends, I love my family. Um, I think I don't think we're much of anything. And I'm fascinated, whether it be scary or whether it be amazing. Um, I'm okay with it either. As far as what we really are and what this is and what it all is, and I find it endlessly fascinating. So it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Crom? Of course, Crom. I'd rather believe in something like Crom or Odin or fun fucking gods like that than the bullshit that, you know, uh, but I don't. I mean, it's all, but what I'm saying is that at least those stories are fucking fun and adventurous and exciting and kick ass and visceral, you know, amazing. But fucking the Christian bullshit, Catholic, all that stuff. Ugh. Wah, wah. What a bunch of downers. Well, the Tic Tac video, I mean, it did for some people, it certainly did. It certainly did, and, those videos and the people, um, those whistleblowers who are coming out, I mean, they're the reason we started getting the congressional hearings that we've been getting since 2023, you know? And it's just gotten more I mean, we're in a situation where, just like the doc says, we are in the age of disclosure. There's no putting the bottle back in, you know what I mean? Putting that bottle, the genie back in the bottle. It's just happening. It's just gonna happen, it's just gonna get stronger. Uh, and there's gonna be more, um, call for transparency, you by the so-called people who think they govern who we are, and that's not just USA, that's everything. That's all people everywhere around the world. There's already forward-thinking people around the world who 100% fully believe in this stuff and know what they've seen and I've had experiences, I I'm not being jerked around by any fucking intelligence agency or fucking told to say this, told to say that. I know what I saw, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, fuck yeah. Age of disclosure. Bring it. Catastrophic is the best way as far as I'm concerned. Rip that band-aid off. Anyway, I gotta go, guys. Thank you so much for talking, listening to my babble. Um, there's info all over the place. You can keep up with everything on the Instagram at Warlock Home Video or the Facebook pages at Christopher J. Seaver and Warlock Home Video Network. Um, I don't do this as often, but I appreciate the people who have joined the YouTube pages. There's so much content that you can watch below, um, of all sorts of things. My love of living in the '80s when I did, and all that stuff, and my show off videos and toys and collections and movies and making movies and nerdy shit. All that stuff is here on the channel. Horror, all of it. And thank you very much. And if any of you guys need to get a hold of me for sales, what I offer in the way of the movies, the Mulva Demon Ass Kicker posters, um, you know, donating to the upcoming productions, you can get a hold of me at warlockhomevideo@gmail.com. As always, thank you so much for the constant support. Thank you for the people who know my films, who have been following my garbage for so long. Very much appreciate it. And I hope you all have a wonderfully orgasmic and delicious night. And we will talk to you soon. See you, friends. Damn